Without any further ado, another son of the soil from the bottom, none other than Mr. Vito Charles. Let's give him a big round of applause there, folks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board of the Windward Islands People's Movement, family and friends, especially the residents of my home village, the Bottom. I want to thank you for coming out to listen to the WIPM team tonight as we continue to explain to you why this is indeed the team that can and will move Sabre forward together. All right, let's The great American inventor and businessman Henry Ford said, if everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. And that is what the WIPM Party champions, not moving forward of some or success for the benefit of a few, but strategic, careful planning and execution that makes life better for all of us. I hope that all of you have had the time to read our manifesto, and if you have not, that you will, because this important document illustrates how WIPM initiatives and projects have touched each village from Hell's Gate right here to the bottom, and how their plans are there to keep executing developments that improve our quality of life. So I really encourage all of you to get familiar with it. I also urge you to stay involved in politics after Election Day, March 18. Find structured ways to engage your WIPM representatives, to share your ideas and thoughts, your proposals, and even your gripes. Because in this way, not only does your vote count, but your voice continues to count as well. Tonight, however, I want to talk to you about another area that is near the very top of my priority list, after youth employment and the plight of the disadvantaged. And this area is culture. Culture with a capital C, because culture is what holds society together. It creates cohesion and allows for people to know and distinguish themselves. Culture touches every area of our lives, touches every area of our foreparents, and will touch every area of our children's lives. That is why it is super important that we acknowledge and preserve the historical culture of Sabre, which is fixed in the past, and to properly shape the current culture of Sabre, which is fluid now. The great Marcus Mosiah Garvey said, a people without the knowledge of their past, history and origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. I was brought to the island of Sabre as a little boy, only a few months. As a boy, I grew up in this lovely village, the Bottom. I played anywhere, and from everywhere, from Troy Hill to Below the Gap, swam on the Fort Bay and the Wells Bay, ran errands to the Promised Land and back to the Quill and Wilhelmina Park, spent countless hours reading in the library, and even more hours serving in the Catholic Church. So when I talk about culture and cohesiveness, the Bottom that I knew as a child was just that, a unit, a village that raised children. I could not run across a new road when I was not supposed to without either my grandmother's or my aunt or uncle finding out. I could not encounter an older person and not say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That was and is the Sabre way. Culture was and is very important to my family, both sides, doing their parts to keep Sabre culture alive in their own ways. My great-grandmother Rebecca maintained coal pits until very near to her death, and also did her part in preserving many Sabre foods and drinks, including Sabre spice. My grandmother Agatha did fine needlework up until her death, and my family has beautiful pieces of her work even now. My other grandmother, well, what to say about Miss Carmen, has played a pivotal role in sustaining culture in Sabre, from the creation of plays and events, to playing organ in the church, to the establishment of a museum filled with items from Sabre's past. It is from her that I have come to believe that it is important to make sure that culture is ingrained and is actively engaged with from a very young age. As a child growing up on Sabre, there was a lot to do. I was a member of the Sabre Girls and Boys Sports Society, took piano lessons, was part of a youth group, the Living Water Youth Group, and all sorts of other activities from school to home And all of these groups and activities shape the way I think and feel about Sabre. One of the core parts of the Sabre Girls in Sports Society was that you took an oath to be a patriotic, productive, and responsible member of the Sabre Society. When I am elected, performing arts like drama, dance, and singing will be given a priority to the Island Council. I believe that these types of activities help keep children off the street, out of trouble, and allow them the spaces to discipline they need to be productive members of society. Our culture is much more than just Sabre Day and Carnival, but it takes a community to make things happen as well. So what part of you are willing and able to play in carrying Sabre's culture forward? These are questions that we must all ask and answer for ourselves as we make every attempt to move Sabre forward together. Before I end, I want to say one last thing. This campaign period, I have stayed away, far away from bashing and criticizing the candidates on the other list. One, because I wanted to put forward to you my ideas and solutions. And two, because I wanted them to put forward their ideas and solutions. So that at the end of the day, you the voter could make an informed choice. So instead I sat back, listened, and waited for the solutions of the SLP. But after weeks and weeks of tirades and tantrums against the WIPM party from their end, they still have not offered one solution to anything themselves have suggested is challenging the island of Sabre. Not one solution. They have had their chance. Each candidate, each meeting had a chance to show you how he or she would move Sabre forward. And yet, between all of them, not one solution. Think about that when you enter the voting booth on Wednesday, March 18, and remember this. There are those who talk about doing things, and then there are those who do things. WIPM is about doing the work. WIPM has the solutions, and WIPM, with its 9 candidates, has both the manpower and the means for successfully moving Sabre forward together. So on March 18, vote for a candidate that's capable, committed, and cognizant. Vote Vito Charles, WIPM number 6. Thank you.